Welcome to Blade HQ, everybody. Today is August 14th, 2023, and today we're going to knife. Because every day I knife. In the morning I knife, in the afternoon I knife, in the evening I knife.
And you're very good at knife.
Let's knife. First knife on the table is the new GiantMouse Jutland, which has the burlap micarta handles, the brass backspacer, and this black stone-washed Venatus blade. I don't know which Venatus steel that is. My hope would be Venatus 4 Extra, V4E, but it just says Venatus. I'm not sure exactly which it is. Hopefully there will be information to that effect on the listing at bladehq.com, links in the description. But this is a really cool knife. $245 is what it's going for, and I'm just really excited to see one of the Venatus steels make it to a folder like this. It's a great everyday carry knife. It's gonna give you a nice, tough, very high edge retention steel. I believe it's a carbon steel, so be a little careful with the rust on it. But man, isn't that just a pretty knife? The micarta's gonna patina, the finish on the blade is gonna fade, and that brass backspacer, it's gonna age nicely as well. It's gonna be a knife that will look like it's had a few stories to tell pretty quick. Next up, new from Civivi, we have the Vision FG. So they had the Vision R from Wii a little while ago, and this is a SNEC X design. And these are interesting because they have this lock here on the back. I forget exactly what they're calling it, but it's a bar that you actuate back to make it run. And then it's got these big holes all the way through the liners and the handles, so you can kind of see through the blade, almost like you have vision through the blade. That was a dumb joke, do not laugh at that. And then it has a pocket clip that is very different from the one on the Wii. On the Wii, it was mounted on the spine here, and some people liked that. It worked really well for their pockets. I think it worked really well in Slack's pockets, but some people didn't care for it, and they added this deep carry reversible pocket clip. So this gives you a really cool knife with a fun design, a fidgety action, and a fully ambidextrous opener, lock, and everything. Excellent knife all around. Well done, Wii and Civivi. Those are going for $78.20 at bladehq.com. Next up, we have the Civivi Sentinel Strike. This one probably is a little bit larger than I thought it was when I picked it up. This one has about a 3.5, almost 4-inch blade in there, and a nice big handle with this injection molded backspacer that wraps around the back. So it provides a nice, comfortable place to rest your hand. But if you need to disassemble the knife, you just pop out screw, 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 and the knife comes apart with pivot as well. But it kind of gives you all the comfort of an integral knife without the price or the difficulty of maintenance of an integral knife. I'm really enjoying this knife. It reminds me a lot of the Wii Ziphius. That was a limited edition that actually won awards at Blade Show Texas that had a titanium handle with a carbon fiber backspacer. This one is $85 and it is not a limited edition. You can get it now, you can get it in the future, and it's a really cool knife. And this reverse Tanto Warncliffe modified Sheep's Cliff blade, I don't know what you'd call that. This blade would be a really great everyday carry thing because it's got a really nice point and a very aggressive edge. You can just choke up here. So if you gotta like break down some cardboard, it'll be easy. You gotta open the package, you gotta slice the apple, you gotta whittle the gnome, whatever you're doing. This knife can handle it very nicely. Next up, new from Dagger, we have the Fielder. And let me tell you about this knife real quick. It has an 8CR14 MOV blade. It's got this nice injection molded handle with a very nice texture. It's got the glass breaker tip, the classic Screaming Skull dagger pocket clip, a very clean design, and a very comfortable ergonomic shape here. So if you want to choke up and do some more precise stuff, if you want to choke back and do a little more hard use, this is a great knife for that, and it goes for $29.99. This might be the buy of the year. This is a very good knife, very well built, and for $30, you just can't go wrong. It comes in a few different colors. I just grabbed this orange one because sometimes I feel like the table of new knives gets a little black. Sometimes throwing some color in there can be fun. But this one, excellent knife for $30. Cannot go wrong. Next up, new from Flytanium, we have what isn't really a knife. It is, in fact, it's not a knife at all. This is the Tenor pry bar. And this one's a little special because it is designed after a Bally scale. And Flytanium's been making Bally's, their Fly 1s and their Talisong Zs. And the Tater Songs, you can still find those at Blade HQ sometimes. These are like Bally scales, but they're pry bars instead. So if you're a Bally boy and you like to flip, but you can't carry a knife somewhere, or maybe you just want a little extra tool that shows off that pride, grab this guy right here. It's got the Flytanium pocket clip that we talked about a little while ago. all titanium, so if you want to do an anodized, maybe a flame texture or whatever, this would be a great option for that. These are going for $82, made in the USA. Excellent, excellent pry bars. Next up, on the super premium side, we have the new Sandrin Monza. This one's got the space gray titanium handle, and it's got a lock very similar to the Vision, actually. In fact, I wonder if there was any inspiration from one or the other. I do not know the history of these locks. But a very cool ambidextrous lock that allows for a nice fidgety action. But the standout feature of all the Sandrin knives are these blades made of tungsten carbide. So look how thin this blade is. Let's just grab, let's say, this dagger. That dagger is not thick, but look how much thinner it is in comparison. But it's tungsten carbide, so like measuring it in the HRC, Rockwell C scale, which is how we normally measure blade steels, would be a little unfair because this is way harder than it really would. This is more like a Mohs scale kind of thing, and we are approaching the diamond levels of hardness on this thing. And because of that, this thing's edge retention is off the absolute charts. So as you can see, it has a lot of these scratches in the blade, and that's because they did have to grind the blade, but satin finishing tungsten carbide is an effort in futility. It is so hard to do it, and that's why you get a nice polish on the edge below, but you don't have to deal with the entire blade. But you get plenty of slicing performance, absolute razor hair-popping sharpness, and it basically doesn't dull. In fact, they sell a sharpener over at Sandrin's website that says they could sharpen the tungsten carbide with, but you can also send it in for 40 bucks, they'll sharpen it. And I argue that for the average person, if you get this knife, you will have to sharpen it twice ever in your entire life if you use it every single day. And it would be cheaper just to send it in to have Sandrin sharpen it twice than to get the sharpener and do it yourself. That's just my thought. Let me know in the comments if you have any experience with the edge retention on tungsten carbide. I know that Pete from Cedric and Ada did an edge retention video with it, and he stopped because his finger had a blister before the knife was dull, which is very impressive, and like it just cuts so smooth, so easy. Love me the Sandrin knives. Next up, we have a new exclusive, the Microtech UTX 70 with MagnaCut. We won't spend too much time here because these are very much like the Ultratech and UTX 85 we've already had that have the MagnaCut and the Flux Yellow slide. But it's a Microtech, it's USA made, it's a blade issue exclusive, it's got a MagnaCut blade. It's awesome. You're gonna love them. These are going for $261 right now. Next up, we have the new Coon Wu Pulsar. I don't know what language that is. I don't know where it came from. If you know what that word means in whatever language, please tell me. I'm always looking to learn. But these ones have LMAX blades, and you can get them with G10 carbon fiber or titanium handles, and they're really good. I know we've talked about Coon Wu before. Coon Wus are great values. So these are $179, super light, and this action is so incredibly buttery smooth. It's one of the most addictive fidgety knives, and the lock bar here on the crossbar here has a cover on the back, so it's gonna keep dust off a little bit better, especially when it's closed and in your pocket. There's gonna be less opportunities for dust to get inside the knife. And also, they stand a little bit proud. So on most of these styles of locks, they try to keep it a little bit in so it doesn't cause any hot spots. But they manage to prevent the hot spots by using this finger groove here and the choil up here. So you're not gonna get any, but you have a nice, easy to actuate thing. So if you're wearing gloves or you maybe have weaker hands, it's not gonna be a problem at all to run this lock. Great, great knife. I'm very excited to see more from Coon Wu. Next up, new from Reef Knives, we have the F6. And we've had F6s before with the CPM 3V blades, made in the USA, built to the nines. Great knives all around. But this time we have a micarta handle. So the micarta, a lot of bushcrafters really like it. It gets grippier as it gets wet. It ages, it patinas, just like the 3V on the blade will. It's a great, great handle material. A lot of people love it, and it comes with a nice leather sheath. You can get a Kydex option too. We did a whole video, we called it Bush Carfting. We got with Kevin Estella, he's a survival instructor, and they went and did some reasonable and unreasonable things with Reef Knives, and they all took it like a champ. So great knives all around. Go check out that video. And if you want to learn more about these, but now you can get it with micarta. Very exciting. These are going for $384 at bladehq.com right now. And last on the table, we have a new brand. This is Carbon Knives, started by knife making legend and many times award laureate Ken Onion. This one is the Tidbit. These are going for $79, although we have an exclusive that might run you a little bit more that has the titanium handle and the S35VN blade. However, this one has the N690 blade. So it's still a great steal all around, and for 80 bucks, it's a really great deal. Ken Onion design and very slick action, very slim in the pocket, and a very clean design. Very nice. And then the knife that has me going, I'm very excited for this one, is the Ahoy. And the Ahoy is made by Riot, and it has the micarta handle and this beautiful, perfectly set, flush fit anchor shield in there, because, you know, the sea and Ahoy. Yeah, titanium bolsters, M390 blade, and this one reminds me a lot of Barlow pattern traditionals. So if you like the Barlow, you like the design and utility of it, but you want something that's gonna fill out the hand a little bit better, maybe ready for some more hard use, but will still be as classy as ever, check out the Ahoy. And we also have an exclusive of the Ahoy with the blue denim micarta. And denim micarta kind of looks almost black and gray when it starts, but just like jeans, when it wears in, it looks pretty. Gotta love, love, love it. Well, that's a lot of new knives for the day. We hope you all have enjoyed. Let us know in the comments what you like, and we will see you next time.